Welcome to the Sunshine Podcast. This is yours truly, Dora Williams, and we are here with the men segment entitled Men, We Need Your Voice. And I am so happy to have with you Pastor Antwon Nixon. He's back again to give us more insight, give the men more encouragement on why their voice is important. And we're going to talk about a subject entitled A Man's World. We're going to hit some different topics concerning the man in the world that he lives in, what versus his mindset, what gives a man joy, how to get a man to verbally express what is going on in his world so we can better understand the man and his voice. So at this time, I am going to present to some and introduce to others, Pastor Antwon Nixon.
How you doing? I'm so happy to be here and take part in this amazing podcast that you got going on, and I'm pleased to be here, and thank you for having me again.
No problem. So you can go right into it, talking about the man's world.
Oh, the man's world. Well, when I first heard the subject matter, it made me think about James Brown's song, It's a Man's World.
Yeah.
He says this is a man's world, but it's nothing without a woman or a girl.
Mm-hmm.
But quite ironically, the man's world is the same world that we all live in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a relative term. I think it speaks from two different narratives. There's one in which the man's world is this world that people perceive that the man has made.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the spiritual side of the man's world from an individual perspective. So you have we're all like man, according to the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's from the individual perspective, I look at it from this point, that when Paul says set your affection on things above,
mm-hmm.
that has to be the man's world.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not everyone's world.
Wow.
So when you're thinking from that perspective,
mm-hmm.
then the man's world is about one simple thing. Well, two things: movement and direction.
Mm-hmm.
And we could be moving, but we're not moving in the right direction.
Right.
The world wants us to move horizontal,
mm-hmm.
and we should be moving vertical.
Wow.
So that's the difference for me as far as in the world. As far as what that man's world is,
mm-hmm.
we need to be moving vertically,
mm-hmm.
and the world wants us to move horizontal. And so what I mean by that is we spend too much time trying to get from A to B,
mm-hmm.
which is a horizontal move,
mm-hmm.
when we should be moving vertical, which is life and death.
Wow.
Everything is in between those two things,
Right.
And that's the state of awareness, though.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're kind of aware about these things, then you're no longer really conscious about it,
mm-hmm.
because when you're moving horizontal, you're either in the past or you're in the future. And so the past, all it does is cause you grief.
Mm-hmm.
Then the future, all it does is give you anxiety.
Wow.
Because you're worried about something that hasn't happened,
mm-hmm.
or you're feeling guilty about something that has happened.
Wow.
And neither one of those things you can affect.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're moving vertical, then you're no longer conscious of any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference. That's why Paul said, set your affection or your mind on things above,
mm-hmm.
or things in heaven,
mm-hmm.
and not on things below.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said in the third verse, he says, you're hid.
Mm-hmm.
You're hid.
Right.
And how does these things see me? I shouldn't even see them.
Wow.
So it's a state of consciousness and
mm-hmm.
subconsciousness. That
mm-hmm.
for me, that's the man's world. But it's not a collective total. I think as an individual,
mm-hmm.
we have to know what our world is. So the
mm-hmm.
question is what's going on in your world?
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, the man's world is my world.
Mm-hmm.
I live in my own imagination.
Mm-hmm.
That is my world,
mm-hmm.
where no other person can affect that world.
Wow. That is good. Wow. Understand the mindset of a man. I mean, can you go into that just a little bit?
Yeah, so I think it's about nature.
Mm-hmm.
Man has a nature that's God-given, and so does the woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like I look at a man's world as the nature of a lion. And then Paul gives us scripture about that as well in Colossians, where he speaks to the man and the woman in this way. He says, husband, love your wives, and he tells the woman to submit herself to her husband. He's speaking to the nature of a man. So the nature of a man is not one that needs to hear, I love you all the time. That is not his nature. His nature really doesn't get a whole lot out of that, because that's an emotional thing. Whereas the woman, she needs to feel that affection and feel that's her world that's created for her to live in, and we should live in those natures. When those two things kind of mix, then you have men who maybe take on feminine type characteristics of thinking, because they become more affectionate, because they blend those worlds. But as a lion only thinks about respect.
Wow.
Doesn't care how big something is. Doesn't care what the numbers look like. And so a man by nature wants respect. He wants to know that he's doing his job well. That's a man's world. He wants to know that he's appreciated. That is what a man's world is. So if you're trying to get into the mind of a man, it's really to know, okay, he just wants to know, is he doing his job well? Am I doing okay with that? That's all a man's world is. It's not as this big thing that we make it out to be. But that's all from a spiritual side. From the worldly side, the man's world is everything that we make that's catered to the man. Whether you get the job or not, it's male. That's about dominance. But that is not really the world that I live in. I would rather live in a world that's more inclusive. To say like the man's world is our world. It is your world and my world. But we could both think the same, but we have different natures. And so we have to attack the world from like the strong point of what our nature is. So the woman is going to go out and she's going to love the world and love what it is. But it's a state of not being so much conscious about everything that's going on around you. It's like the moment that you become conscious of something, you've already lost that moment.
Wow.
And so if you think of it this way, like a flower growing, right? And you walk up on this beautiful flower, and if you never see that flower, you're living in unison with that flower. And so that world just kind of exists. But the moment you start to pay attention to it and start to think about it, you're losing it.
Wow.
You've just totally changed the whole world and what it is. And so I try to go about not thinking. Because as soon as I start to think, everything else comes into play into that world. But if I'm not conscious of it, then nothing really exists. Nothing is actually happening. I'm not seeking for anything. I'm not chasing any goals. I'm actually lining up with the laws of the universe. The universe, by God, is designed to give us what we need. But the moment you become conscious of things, you start to go after what you want.
Wow, that's cool.
And that's a whole nother world that I think that has us going down the wrong path. Because we're too conscious. And we should allow things to happen according to what's already been given to us, instead of trying to chase certain things that are really not there for us. We look at what other people have, and then that becomes our world. And then we want those things, and we lust after those things, and now you're chasing something that's not even yours.
That is good. My mind is just running right now. That is good. So I guess the last question would be, because you just pretty much answered all these in that short little time. But I know the next thing was, what gives a man joy?
Joy. So that's a great question, and it's a question to all of us. I believe that joy is not something you could actually seek. Joy has to be something that exists solely on its own. And that's definitely on a vertical line. Because trying to go from A to B, you may never find joy.
Wow.
Trying to go in a horizontal way. Like to go in a horizontal way is to put joy on, if I get a house, I'm going to be happy.
Now that's good.
Or if I get a car, I'm going to be happy.
Wow.
We're going horizontal, right? Or if I become a millionaire, I'm going to be happy. But that's not a reality. Because none of those things have anything to do with joy. Joy is something that's eternal. It exists only in a vertical line, which is non-conscious, meaning that I'm always in a state of joy. Joy is a state of being. It's a state of mind. And so what gives a man joy is to not think about it, not to try to put it on something. It literally has to exist in something that's higher than yourself and higher than the environment and things you're going around. So in a scriptural sense, when Nicodemus came to Jesus, notice that Nicodemus was going in a horizontal line. He came to him at night, searching for something. And Jesus took him straight into a vertical line, which is, he said, in order for these things to happen, you got to be born again. That's a vertical line, not a horizontal line. Now notice when Zacchaeus, when he found him, he went up, and that's how he was seen. And so joy comes from getting in alignment or with what the law says. Jesus says that his joy is not of the world. But yet still, we're trying to replace joy with things of the world. And so once again, it's a vertical line. You have to go up.
Right.
Because ultimately, everything either goes up or down. The universe works up and down. It's life, and then there's death. Everything is in between those things. All the other things that's in the horizontal line that we're chasing and ascribing ourselves to go after, or motivating tactics. You know, the horizontal line is all about motivation. I got to get motivated to do this. Joy has nothing to do with motivation.
Wow.
Joy is aspiration.
Wow, that's good.
It's aspiration. You know, I don't need nothing to have joy. And there's nothing you can take from me that takes my joy.
Wow, that's good.
You know, so joy has to be something that's all in you. It's like something you generate. But if it's ever something that has to be motivated, meaning a certain goal or a certain achievement, that's not joy. That's not joy. So, you know, I'm literally just walking around, not even thinking about trying to find those things. You know, those things literally exist inside of us. I think once we become conscious of that we already have what we're looking for, then you're no longer looking for it. Because the moment that you try to look for something, you bring time into it. But if you're never thinking about it, time doesn't exist. So our brain is kind of hardwired to work from the past and from the future. And we got to get into a state of consciousness, which is what we call awareness, where subconsciousness, which is an awareness of, why am I trying to chase these things or run them down and these things like that when they're already around? There's joy everywhere. It's all around us. I mean, it's like the universe is actually working in your favor and things like that, but we're searching for it like in the wrong things. And I think that has caused things like depression and all these things. Those are horizontal things. There's no depression going up. Because how can there be depression if your mind is solely focused on heaven?
True. That's true.
How? It's because we are either stuck in the past or we're wishing for a future. And so you're chasing something or you're holding on to something when you should just be being something. Just literally just living. So for me, that's what joy is. Joy is something that I'm not conscious of. It's nothing that I want to think about. It's nothing that I want to try to find in any particular thing. Joy is something that I know that's already there. And peace and all those things are already there. They're given to us by the universe. They're given to us by God. But the question is always, are we going in the right direction?
Wow.
You know, to try to get them. And oftentimes, more so than not, we're going in the wrong direction, trying to get these things. And so we'll start to say like, hey, it's not there, or it's not out there, or it's never going to happen. And it might not, because we're going in the wrong direction. Sometimes we confuse movement with progress. And that's not the case. It's like the hamster, he's moving and he's making no progress. So we have to stop and ask the question, you know, am I making progress with, you know, or am I lining up with what I'm seeking after? If I'm looking for joy, that's not something I should be looking at. Joy is something that just naturally exists on its own. We don't create joy. It's just something that's already there that God has given us access to. But it's all in a vertical line, not a horizontal line.
Right. Wow. This is good. This is real good. The last question: how do you get a man to verbally express what's going on in his world? Is it any of, you know, our business to know what's going on in the man's world? As far as, you know, I would say married couples, or even, you know, someone that's dating, or even, you know, like a father and a daughter. You want to know what's going on with dad, or, you know, what's in his mind or what he's thinking. Is there any of our business to even know what's going on in a man's world?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we have to learn from one another. I think getting into anyone's world is, you have to go from that individual. I don't think it's a universal way of doing that or a cookie-cutter way of doing that. You know, but one thing is paying attention to the person and seeing, you know, how to approach a person. You know, what's their character like? What's their persona like? You know, because ultimately we're trying to learn something. But before you can probably get a person's thought, you're going to have to know that individual, you know, on how to approach them. That is how we help one another, you know, and I do think so I guess there's a slippery slope with it when it comes to asking a question or being too persuasive, you know, or too informative and things, and you're trying to get the information. But ultimately, the world works that way. You know, we have to go off of one another, you know, and me, myself, being a person that's, I'm not going to say I'm a recluse, but I'm not the first person to talk when I come in the room. Right. You know, but I also know that I have things that could possibly help someone. But I wouldn't probably be the first one to just start talking. And so there's, you know, you say that people can read your face, you know, and then they just look at his face and be like, oh, I don't want to say nothing. But I will always say this right here: how bad did you want it? You know, because if you let a person's face stop you from even asking a question, to me, you just don't want information bad enough. I think ultimately, if it's something that you seek and you desire, and you believe that person has it, then you have to cross the line and don't be afraid of a no or being disappointed or being turned down. I think that's where we lose at, is we let that first impression that's really an assumption. Right. You know, everybody that's smiling ain't happy. That's true. But we just kind of assume that. And everybody that's not smiling doesn't mean they're upset. And so, but if we let that be the determining factor, then you're going to be losing. Right. And we're letting people walk out of our lives, which is also opportunities. And we're letting them go away when we believe in our heart like that person has it. So I think those are fear tactics that are kind of out there that you have to kind of get over and say, hey, if I believe this person has something that could actually help me, then you know, I owe it to myself to at least ask those questions. So, you know, I think that's the way to go. I believe that in order to get the answers, you have to ask the question. That's a childhood thing that they tell you in school. You know, I think the hardest thing for adults is to remember about being kids. Wow. It was so easy when we were kids. They taught us that, but as adults, we've allowed so many things to transform us, and we've conformed to things that has shortchanged us. Right. But the easiest thing that they said in class was raise your hand if you have a question. But the same rule still applies in the adult world, because life is the teacher. And you have to raise your hand and ask the questions about life, so life can actually give you the answers. You know, help us get to where we're going, and know that these things are for us.
Wow, this is good. This is good. I am grateful for this time in learning. Even, you know, this is a man segment. It's helping me. You know, it's giving me thought, especially when you're talking about horizontal versus vertical. Now I'm doing a self-evaluation even now as to, am I in a horizontal moment right now or vertical? But the meaning that you gave is just so powerful, and I hope that those of you that are listening, are really, really, really listening, not just hearing but listening, and do a self-evaluation on yourself, because like you said, if you're in a horizontal state of your life, you're pretty much not going anywhere, not getting anywhere.
You're stressing about those things, you know, because the horizontal line are just two places, and it's all movement, which is, there's linear movement, which is horizontal, which is a straight line, and there's non-linear, which goes in not a straight line. But the thing is awareness. We don't even know we're in those positions, and so we're losing and don't even know why we're losing. Wow. And so until we kind of see, like, okay, here's where things come from. The Bible tells us that, you know, he says, set your mind on things above. That is a vertical line. But I think where we lose at is we don't understand that the Bible works off principles and promises. Right. And so if the Bible works off principles and promises, God sets the principle that you cannot change. You can't affect the past. You cannot affect the future. You know, so if it's principles and promises, then it's kind of like following a yellow brick road. Ours was always at the end of it. Right. And so God's promise promises are always at the end of his principles.
Yes.
And so what Paul was saying, he was literally tying that in with Jesus teaching his disciples. He said, let me teach you how to pray. He was teaching how to pray vertical. You know,
right?
Because he's like, if you pray the wrong way, you can't fault God for not giving it to you.
That's it.
So he told us, let me teach you how you can access things.
Right.
And that's the whole thing, is life is about access. But in order to access, you have to know the rule.
Right.
If you don't know the rule, I mean, why are you playing the game?
Come on now.
That's the first thing you're supposed to learn about any game. It comes with rules.
Rules, that's it.
Because you're supposed to follow the rules.
Right.
But if you don't know the rules, then you can't even access everything about the game. You don't have the same type of fun.
Right.
You don't get the same rewards.
Right.
And we're watching people who are doing less than we are and getting more. Simply because they understood the rules.
Wow.
And so for me, my greatest life change was to align with the rules. You know, I was breaking the rules and didn't even know I was breaking the rules.
My Lord.
And so it's like four things that comes to like human beings when it comes to like the rules and how things work. And so you have it in this state of human being. All human beings kind of fall in this line. So you have the person that knows and know he knows. That's level one. That's the scholar. The person that knows and know he knows is a scholar. The second person is you have the person that knows that they don't know. And so what does the scholar do? The scholar is obligated to go to that person and tell them, like, you got it. You just don't know you got it. And then you have what we call the student. The student is the person that doesn't know and know they don't know. But if you go and talk to the student and teach them, they will become a scholar because they want to learn.
Right.
And then you have the last one, which is the idiot. This is the person that doesn't know and doesn't know that he doesn't know and doesn't care to know.
Wow.
Everyone falls in one of those four categories.
Yeah.
But the moment you become a scholar, you're in a state of awareness because you are aware that you are aware. That is a top level game now. Because you can actually affect the game that you're in. It's like what we call in sports when the game slows down. You can overtake talent in the way you think because the game is not coming at you so fast. So a lot of times life is coming at us real fast when we're younger and we're trying to figure things out. And life is coming at us so fast, but life comes at its own pace. The thing is for us is you have to slow down so that you're not going the same pace and life is passing by you just as fast. The moment that you slow down, you can actually see life and you can respond to it. But we're going just as fast as life is.
Right.
And so we're passing up things that we're looking for. And we're just like, we never see them.
My God.
That's why they used to tell us, like, slow down and smell the roses.
Right.
Why? Because they literally all they was telling you is, you got to think. When we slow down to smell the roses, you actually think about it.
Right.
And then as you're smelling the rose, everything else is coming. And you can actually see those things.
Right.
And so once again, it's all about our state of awareness. Where are we at? And then are we in a vertical line in life or are we in the horizontal line? Because the horizontal line is the world's line. It's telling you, go get wealthy, go get all these things. But why do you have to go get those things? Those things are laid up in heaven for you.
Right.
If they're yours, they're yours.
Yeah.
You don't have to even work for those things.
Right.
You just need to get in alignment for it. And so we're working for something that either you can't get because it's not yours, or you're going to work and miss it because you're going in the wrong direction. You know, we're trying to get from A to B, when we should just be concerned with life and death and everything in the middle. It's all about you. You know, am I going in the right direction? So for me, it was just direction. You know, it was just direction, and many of us was missing the direction. And so once I lined up with the direction, then I kind of understood like how these things would come into me and how they would come to me. And then life became simple that way.
Wow. That is good and so encouraging. And I hope this is encouraging you out there today. I want you to ask yourself some questions. Are you in a hurry going nowhere and life is passing you by? Life is going in one direction, you're going in another, and you're waving at life as you're going, like you said, to try to find something that is on this way to you, but you can't slow down enough to and be patient enough to wait for it. Think about that for a moment.
Laws of attraction.
Yes.
I said this the other day. We recently just went to Hawaii, me and my family, and And Keisha caught a picture of me. I didn't even know she took the picture of me and Nala. We had climbed up this high cliff, you know. And when I saw the picture, I was like, wow, you know, she followed me. I didn't tell her to follow me because I was going to get a better view for the picture that I wanted to take. And but in going up to get that view, I realized then, like, yo, she has to make her own decisions about life because life comes with temptations. They look like opportunities sometimes. And that's how the devil tried to get Jesus.
Right.
When he climbed into the mountain, all that looked like opportunity, but it was a temptation.
Right.
And if you're on the wrong plane, horizontal, you would think that was an opportunity.
Right.
But if Jesus was on a vertical plane, so he would always hit him with a high word. Not one that lined up with what Satan was trying to throw at him. And that's how we have to attack life. You know, so for me, when I saw the picture, I was like, you know, what am I showing her? If I'm showing her something, but if she drop her book, she lose the lesson. So it's important that she make sure that if you're going to come up here and take this view, you got to know how to control what you look at.
My God.
Because everything you see is not for you. It's to give you a better view of what you see, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's yours.
Right.
And you have to determine, is this an opportunity or is this a temptation? Is this a lesson? Is it a test? And all those things will come to us if we're in a vertical line. But as long as you're chasing something, you're in a horizontal line, that means you're still asleep. People who are in a horizontal line, they're asleep because they have chased things that everyone else is telling them to get. Hey, you need to get this and you need to get that. And if you get this, that means this. Those people are asleep. People who are in a vertical line are woke. They're woke because they know that everything comes from up high and comes down to them by grace. You don't have to work for that. Grace is unmerited. You can't get yourself into heaven. You can't buy it. You can't earn it.
That's it.
The only thing you can do is earn your way to hell. Like, you can earn your way there. You can work for it there. But you can't work your way into heaven.
Right.
You know? Because those things are not within our will. You know, God did not give us that. You know, and so for me, it's just knowing those things. Those are the real keys to life. Once you kind of woke on those things, then I think you kind of figured life out. And that's because things have slowed down and you realize there's things that you wanted that I don't need that. I don't even want that. I wanted it because I was in that line for that. But the moment you change into a vertical line, you go into a new dimension, a new way of thinking, and you literally become the new creature that thinks differently.
This is good. This is really good. Now, again, I appreciate you coming back, sharing your heart on this. And again, I hope this has blessed you. To really think about your life, and if you're in that horizontal position, if your life is in that horizontal position, I encourage you to seek after becoming vertical, allowing your life to operate in the vertical state, and ask yourself, like you said, do you know the rules? Because some of you, like you said, is stuck because you don't know the rules. If you know the rules, then it's up to you to follow, apply, and get back in that vertical position.
That's right.
So I thank you again, Pastor Antwon Nixon, for your time, for your rich wisdom, and for allowing God to use you on this podcast. So until next time, everyone, you be blessed. And when we come back again, we expect for you to be out of that horizontal position into that vertical position. You all be blessed.